So we're doing haunted objects today for real? We're finally doing this episode?
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like, I make mention of how, first off, how slow it was for you to get the doll, how slow it was for me to open it, and then to actually make it.
It takes a lot to get a non-demon possessed doll.
Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about scary things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle.
So this is a story for our friends that are listening, okay? There are several parts to it. I think everybody should pay close attention to see if they can be like detectives with us a little bit, when it comes to try to sort this stuff out. Theories are welcomed, obviously. But it's going to start off with a little bit of a, you know what, Michelle? I'm going to send you a check under your chair. I have something for you.
Under my chair? God, that would be terrifying. It's like, here it is. Edwin, you're not even in the country. How did you do that?
Let me send you a link. Okay. So, a while back, and this is the part where we play the clip of, if we can find it. If not, it's going to be too hard. But when we first started talking about getting a haunted doll.
We're going to I looked through a bunch of categories on the haunted items, right? So on eBay. This is straight from eBay. Because Michelle told me, I'm so thankful for this. She told me that they sell haunted items on eBay. And I didn't know. And then
all I do is educate.
We decided to get a doll. Right? The idea was that people would decide what would haunt me or something scary.
I just want to note that you volunteered and we did a poll on Instagram of a haunted doll, a haunted, I don't know, musical instrument or something.
I've narrowed it down to maybe a doll, an object like a music box, old clothing or jewelry, or a photograph of some kind. So the deal here is that you will vote by letting us know via email or through Instagram about what you think I should buy.
And then I'll pick from that category that you guys vote from.
Correct. And I will get it.
Some people believe in this thing, actually, there's actual haunted objects. I actually went on Catholic.com, is it? Or Catholic.org?
It's Catholic.biz, actually. That's the official website now. It's Catholic.biz.
The idea was that people would decide would haunt me, and Michelle would send it to my house. And people voted, and they voted for a doll, obviously.
Yeah.
I already had a doll, actually, that I purchased myself from an antique shop, and I used to keep it in my room. It's still there, actually. It's in the studio, and it's in a tall chair, like a doll tall chair. It's really creepy setup. It was a whole coincidence how I found that little tall chair. But anyway, I'm not particularly afraid of dolls. I just have to say that. The doll that's there, I know I'm there late at night, 1 a.m., midnight, writing, and I like to write in the dark, just the lamp focus on the desk, and I'm just typing away. And I'm not, it's just not a thing, I don't get freaked out. But anyway, of course, Michelle, you wouldn't be getting me an evil one because you're Michelle.
And you have dogs in the house, and I didn't want an evil doll impacting your dogs.
Yeah, because they get affected. That's true though. They say that they're more sensitive to this type of thing.
Look, I did a lot of research on this, so I'm not going to pick someone who's going to be mean to dogs.
And I also got messages on Instagram about what if it's a real curse? What if you actually get cursed? So I'm glad you didn't choose an evil one.
Yeah, you better be glad I didn't choose, because the evil ones were cheaper, and and there were a lot more of them. So that's all you need to know about that.
Oh, man. Then after a long while, Michelle picked one out, sent it to my house. And then after another long while, probably longer while.
Yeah, way longer. He just sat in the box. Poor
I
guy.
opened it.
Poor guy.
But in the meantime, the idea of haunted objects and all that was kind of simmering in our minds. And during one of the podcast conferences in Vegas, we were having breakfast when suddenly we had an idea.
So Michelle and I just had breakfast, and we're looking for a haunted museum.
Maybe the haunted museum. I think maybe the only haunted museum you could go to in Vegas. Well, that we know of.
We'll see how this goes. I'll update later. Not feeling good.
And then that turned into of course, like, what do we think, right? We were just like, duh, we have to go. Like, why do we not go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum?
Of course.
Okay, so Michelle and I are about to go into Zach Bagans'.
Touched in there. Other women have been touched in there.
Okay, just ignore that part.
So we were about to go into a place that holds some of the most haunted objects in the world. I don't know, Michelle. Do you believe that? Did you believe that going in?
I'd go allegedly on that. I don't know. I think I'd just say allegedly because we did look at like a room full of dirt. So like, yes, there are definitely charged objects in there. Like he has Charles Manson's ashes in the whole serial killer room that's got a real weird vibe to it. And then the Ed Gein cauldron is pretty freaky.
Yeah, the van to me was creepy.
Yeah, you didn't like the van. The van gave you weird
nausea,
vibes. Nausea. It made you sick. That's Jack Kevorkian's van we're talking about. That's also in the museum. But then there's stuff like a stained mattress, like from the Bunny Ranch or whatever. Or I don't know, someone died on. Like there's two stained mattresses actually. One a guy died on who saw a demon. The other was owned by a serial killer and murdered his victims on, and they have all the stuff. Like that, that's like a legit one. But the first stained mattress that you see, you have to stay in that room while a TV rises up out of the...
out of the foot of the bed area?
Out of the foot of the bed to watch Zach come and talk about this room. And I don't know, man. That was... For every good exhibit, there was one that you're like, like, why are we still in this room?
I remember that one was just awkward. It was just like, what? I don't know. It was just, the bed one was just like, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just weird.
Everything you could ever be freaked out by was jammed into this museum. He's like jammed it with everything. So, yes, there's legit stuff. And then there's also like...
just stuff.
Yeah, they had a sideshow performer in the museum as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And then we get to the gift shop and I bought Zach Bagans' CD because he has a CD. Where else in America could I have gotten that CD? It's one of my treasured possessions.
I wish that thing wasn't like copyrighted. Like, we could just like show.
I know. It's just him doing his talks to EVP on progressive rock. Like it's not like him singing. It's just him talking to ghosts over progressive rock. Anyway, I don't think that's a cursed object, but it might be on some level.
Oh man. And you know, at the very beginning when we went into that museum, there was I was like, this is pretty chill, this is pretty cool.
So this is what it's like to be in here at the Haunted Museum. Are you scared?
No, but there are a lot of dolls looking at us.
Yeah, that is a little... Yeah, I already picked out my favorite. That one.
You're gonna have to take a picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Now, I get lost with the timeline here, but I know that I took forever to open that box. And I had this doll that was supposed to be a type of experiment, just to see what happens. Now, I know that I'm very conscious of things around the studio, and I can tell when something isn't right. Like, for example, just one time, I felt this very strong presence there. And I know what this feels like now, which is really cool. Like, I felt like I needed to turn, like someone's behind me, I need to turn around or leave. Like, I felt that rush of like, and it only happened one time. And again, I'm there writing late at night sometimes. Now, it's important to note something here. I'm going to make references to a story that was told to me on True Scary Story. I'll link it in the description so you can listen afterward, but it's called Three Faceless Demons. And I actually got in trouble. Did I tell you, Michelle, I got in trouble with this story? With listeners. They were complaining about not giving proper warnings about it.
Oh, I don't think I've heard the story, but I think you told me about getting listeners mad about it.
Yeah. Because in the beginning, actually at the very end, Amy told me that whoever she tells a story to, like stuff starts happening to them.
Which,
right?
yeah, would piss an audience off of
Yeah.
being like, oh no, now I'm cursed.
Yeah. Now imagine, I heard this at the very end also. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
I was warned, right? Like, so I felt like, okay, this is the way she told the story. I'm just going to share it as she told me. So in case you want to listen to that story, you've been warned now. Like, again, it's called Three Faceless Demons. Go find it. She says that at the end. But anyway, during that phone call, we're actually on webcam, right? And weird things were happening during that call, like really odd things. The main thing was the light flickering behind me whenever she would mention demons. Like whenever she would say that, like it was just like flicker, flick. And she could see it on the camera. Like if she's listening to this episode now, Amy, if you're listening, you remember this stuff. Like I was freaked out when we were doing that. We're like, what is going on? Like also disconnection. Like we were just like, And then when it came to uploading, it was another issue. Now you work with audio, Michelle, so you kind of know.
Yeah.
But imagine you get your audio exported, you upload, and when you press play on the host, like when it's actually uploaded, you just hear a zzz, right? You don't hear anything. What would cause that? I have no idea. It hasn't happened in any other thing. So I replaced the audio, and then it was too low. Like it was just like, and I'm like, I exported on the same, I have the standard export settings. Bizarre, because the thing, what it does, sometimes I think platforms do this. They like compress or like raise levels or adjust their levels however they want them whenever they can. But I wasn't listening on a platform. I was listening on the hosting thing where the same file was there. But it was bizarre. It took a while for me to edit that and like and try to like export it properly and like just trying to tweak things around until I finally got it. I think I ended up uploading the original file and it worked just because it actually played. But it really creeped me out. I was like, and I added that in the recording when I was just like, it took a while to edit this. Anyway, this is going to be an important part, in a little bit later on in the story that I'm sharing with her. It's really creeped me out. I don't know if you can tell I'm a little nervous with this stuff.
Yeah, I get it. Because this is like your story. This is your story that you're telling.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But anyway, so around that time, I was recording something for a podcast ad, one of the ad partners that we had, Spreaker, and we still work with them, but they wanted a short video, and I was recording something, like selfie style, like, hey, blah, blah. And as soon as I stopped recording, I heard the chimes of a piano. This is real. It's in the studio. Like cling, 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 like that. They were high-pitched notes, and it happened as soon as I stopped recording. And then I turned the camera back on, right? I'm like ready because it's on. Like the camera is on, but not recording.
I remember this happening.
Yeah.
This was happening, but I don't think my haunted doll was at your house yet when this happened.
Yeah, see, like that's the thing. So this is like, okay, so we can try to organize it here, right? Like the haunted doll wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't
at the
there
time,
yet.
but things were happening around. Like
because I remember you texting me about that and being like, "This just happened."
And after like I started recording again, I'm like, what was that? And I started like kind of listen. I'm nervous in that. I'm like, and I just don't hear the piano anymore. I'm like, I don't have a piano in there.
That's so weird.
I was the only one that was late. It was late. And I know because I was thinking I was making too much noise recording the, hey guys, la 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 la. But anyway, I don't think my space there is haunted or anything. That's not where I'm going with it. But what I am saying is that I'm confident I'm able to catch these hints, and I would be able to in case the doll, and like if we got that doll and it ended up messing with the environment or whatever. And things were definitely weird around there already. So I was just like, I wonder what's going on. Anyway, I finally decided to open that box once you sent it, like later on.
I don't know, like 4 months after I sent it.
So, Michelle sent me this doll to get haunted and to get cursed here in my place. So we're going to trick it, and we're actually going to open it from the back. Let's see what, hopefully I don't kill it. I was nervous about this thing. Oh, it has like triple tape. Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? Michelle, what the heck? Stefan is very respectful of women. He was raised by his mother and grandmother after his father died when he was just 2 years old. When in his late teens and through his 20s, he returned the favor by working and giving money to his mom and grandmother. He never married, but had a very serious girlfriend when he died. He died in his early 30s in a training exercise when some equipment malfunctioned. Stefan is wonderful to have around after your stomach adjusts. He would do well in just about any environment, but he loves matriarchs, families led by women, families with multiple generations, on boats with mixed families, and would even enjoy living in a shop or business location. He considers himself a protector of people, children, business, and vehicles. Okay. Wow. I did have some questionable sushi yesterday, so makes sense. Very fitting.
And that's where weird things started happening. Not just like, creepy, but like just strange. Very subtle things that only make sense when you look back because they seem so normal.
There are odd connection issues. I don't know. Like even with recordings about like True Scary Story, like whenever, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of happened before too, so I don't want to blame the doll for this, but weird connection issues. And it's not a common thing. We also had them with Michelle on the phone calls. And she can say like, yeah, this is weird how we're just not connecting. Like, but I think it's just her internet. Kind of sucks.
Thanks, you're blaming my internet. Whatever. Anyway.
So we started getting weird things happening around all the stuff that I work around with, like electronics wise. Buzzing of the audio interfaces, calls disconnecting, including with yours, right? Like weird internet stuff. Popping microphones, just weird things. And they don't normally happen, especially not all at the same time, right? Like, yeah, you'll have a mic popping. Yeah, you'll have something, but like not everything. And also, Michelle, I don't know if you remember this, but it was around the time we were like, I was feeling at least my energy down. And we were just like,
yeah. Burnt out.
I don't know if that has anything to do with this, right? But I also ended up having this weird slowdown, like during an emergency trip to Ecuador where everything that could have gone wrong with a regular flight experience went wrong.
I believe the curse has started. I am now in an airport in Ecuador. And from LAX, in order to get in, the first flight was delayed. When they finally let us in, they made me check my bag, like forced me to check my microphone. And I had no choice. Because of that delay with the first plane, I missed the connection to the second one. And so then I got rerouted. And then I ended up in Colombia. And then once I arrived, my bag didn't arrive with me. So like everything that could go wrong with the flight just went wrong. I don't know if this is Michelle's fault. We will see.
I mean, valid. Is it my fault? It's still not as bad as a demon. I'm thinking, like, it could have been worse. That's all I'm saying. It's all
like, you trapped me in a box and I'm going to trap you in an airport.
Yeah, you literally kept him in a box for 4 months. Poor Estefan. He was trapped for so long.
And it made sense. If there was a curse, it would be trying to slow me down in revenge for being so slow with it to begin with. Being cranky for being in a box. But I was glad that it was only this type of thing and not something more serious. But
yeah.
What about that thing that says that curses don't only affect you, but your loved ones? This is where I was just like, like,
yeah,
this is my
fault.
But
he's not supposed to be negative. That shouldn't have been, it shouldn't have been like overarching effect of trying to destroy your life. There shouldn't have been that.
Yeah.
He's nice to animals. He's nice to animals.
And he likes women, right? Like as in,
yeah,
you know,
he was raised by women or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you were going to Spain, and I was like, oh, he could take Estefan with him to Spain. And then you're not. So I'm sure that's not going over well either. Basically, you guys are going to need some therapy when you get back, and in order to work some stuff out. That's all I'm saying.
Dang it. When I think about that stuff, I'm like, was something else affecting this before? And there was something that I remembered while I was putting everything together, where there was this incident.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened before I opened the doll. And I was not the only one to witness this. Now, here for everyone, I'm going to play a call that I recorded with my sister, who had been, she went up to the house for the weekend and went into the studio. She was going to print something out or something. And what happened there creeped me out, right? Like just seeing her creeped me out. And I mean, my sister was already creeped out because of the doll that I already had sitting in
your
that
first
tall chair.
doll.
Yeah. But she asked me something about the podcast, True Scary Story, where she's like, has anything ever happened in here? Like, do you ever get creeped out? And I was like, oh, there was this story called Three Faceless Demons that Amy told me. And then all of a sudden, as I'm telling her the story, she's like, stop. Like, And I'm like, what? Okay, hello?
Hello?
Hey, Jenny, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, why are you afraid of going into my podcast studio?
Because that doll that you have in there gives it a really weird feeling.
Which one, though? Did you see the new one?
No, it's the creepy one that's sitting on the tall little chair that even the dog's scared of.
But Jenny, like, do you remember when you got scared that one time when you were talking and you were printing something out or something?
Yeah.
And remember how you said, has anything scary ever happened? And I was like, yeah. Remember that day?
Yeah, right when I said that is when the light started flashing.
When I mentioned the demons. Like when I said, whenever I say, remember?
Yeah.
It's like whenever, what lamp or what light, which one flashed?
I think it was a light that said Spotify, the neon light. It flashed. It was really clear because there was no other lighting. There was nothing else going on. But right when you said that word, when you said demon, the light flashed.
But I didn't see it. Why didn't I see it?
That's what's creepy about it too, because I know I wasn't making it up. Like I saw it.
But like, because I think I was facing away from it though. But I feel like I would have seen.
So you were facing towards me, telling me the story. So you were standing almost like a couple feet in front of the light, right? Like facing towards me. And I had a clear view. I was looking back at you as you were telling me the story. But right when you said the word demon, the light like flickered, the neon light.
And that was after I had gotten that other doll, right? The one that's on the desk. The weird, not the girl one, but like the other doll. I'd already gotten it, right? Yeah. That's the one that?
Yeah. I think it was still in the box. It was still in the box because I just remember being really freaked out by that doll that sits on the chair, and I don't know, it looks so, for me, it's just with dolls in general, like they look so real, they look like they have human features that it's just hard for me to not imagine or feel like they have some sort of soul to them.
Jenny, what the heck? But
like it's just hard for me to not to see a doll that looks just like a little girl dressed in a little girl dress with the eyes and everything, and to not feel and believe that they have something more in them, like soul.
Well, I don't know. I've stayed there past midnight by myself, and I've only felt one time where like I felt someone was looking at me, but that was only one time out of like many times.
Also, I think that objects and dolls, they get attached to people. That's the reason why they become so protective.
Michelle had sent that the other doll that was still in the box. She had sent it and said that she has this theory where the doll is grumpy because I hadn't opened it, and it took me forever to open it. And during those times, I don't know if this is true, but like weird things were happening with the internet connection. Weird things were happening with like weird connecting flights. It was a time where like everything went wrong, and during one of my flights, like everything, like late departure. I had to. They forced me to check in bags, missed flights, rerouted, and I ended up getting to Ecuador without my bags because they got lost. But she has a theory where like the thing is grumpy because I hadn't opened it. But I thought I had opened it by the time. Maybe I hadn't then, when the whole creepy, the light thing started happening.
Yeah, no, I don't remember a second doll in the room. Otherwise, I probably really just wouldn't have gone in there.
And you've seen it already this time?
No, I don't go in there. The last time I went in there was when I was there with you when I was printing something.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, that's it. Okay. Okay, bye. Hold on, lady. Hold on.
Wow. So it sounds like I'm pausing it to make a point.
Okay.
That
Pause.
maybe Estefan is helping out, and maybe someone else is pretty pissed that Estefan is there. I'm just saying. Just saying.
They're kind of facing each other. Like one of them's in one wall, on the opposite wall is where Estefan is.
Wait, does your first doll have a name?
No, I didn't want to name it because
you know
that was intentional. I didn't want to name it.
But I love that you took this on. I mean, you were like, I'm not going to get cursed. Well, you didn't even think about your own doll that you already had being pissed off that another haunted doll came into your house. And maybe they're at war with each other now.
See, but like that's the thing, Michelle. Like this is what I'm thinking. Like, what if the dolls have nothing to do with it? Or maybe what if Estefan is helping, right?
Yeah.
But what if the whole thing wasn't actually about the objects, but about that call or
God,
that story?
Because, that gave me chills just now.
Yeah, but Michelle, I got chills too right just now. But look, okay, I told you last week, right, that I wanted to do this cursed episode, right? I was like,
right.
This was off camera, like as in maybe we recorded, but we didn't publish it off mic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I told no one about it.
Right.
The original storyteller, where the lights would flicker when she would mention the word demon and all that, her name's Amy. She sent us an email with an update to her story today.
What?
Out of nowhere. Today.
Oh my God. What does it say?
It just says she wants to give an up. Like she wants to, hop back into the podcast to, give an update on what's been going on. So maybe, I don't know.
You got to do that ASAP.
Is this...
You've got to do that ASAP. But also like, holy shit, was it a cursed story that's now cursed your house?
I don't know. Like, so... Yeah, was it the objects or was it the dolls or was it the story or both? Or is there just nothing going on? It's all in my head. We don't know.
Well, I mean, it could be all of those things or it could be rats. We don't know. But I'm definitely not blaming Esteban or Estefan. Estefan or Esteban?
I don't know. I think it was Estefan or
Estefan.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I'm definitely not blaming Estefan. I'm very team Estefan. So, except that he's supposed to give stomach problems. That was like the only caveat in his whole thing is that he might give you stomach problems.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is what he died of. So that's probably why you get stomach problems from him. So,
And I always have stomach problems, actually.
Well?
Not always, but like, I'm very prone to that.
It's fair. It's fair. So am I. How would you know if it's supernatural or just IBS? We don't know.
Is it supernatural or IBS?
The mighty unanswered questions of the universe.
Maybe it's supernatural. Maybe it's IBS.
We ask the important questions here at Scary Mystery Surprise, and we almost answer them.
Almost. But anyway, theories and all ideas, anything, I'm open. You can find me again. You should DM us. Scary Mystery
DM
Surprise.
us. And we're loving those comments on the Spotify.
Spotify.
Yeah. It's like instant gratification. People being like, we asked, did you like the show? And people being like, yes.
Yeah. Let me see if we can go through some of these right now. Actually.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Let's see. There was one about which one was this? The 6 million in Paris. Yeah, 6 million corpses in Paris. Somebody suggested an episode. We're going to be working on it. Actually, I'm going to be doing that story.
Yeah.
Randonautica. Thanks, Kai Yuvan 2158 for that idea. Seriously, I don't know why we hadn't thought of this before. It's going to creep out Michelle. Michelle, promise not to look it up.
I don't even know what it is, so this is going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, they suggested the Velisca house.
Oh, well, that's funny because our next episode is kind of that, but not quite.
Parallel world. Ooh. See, like all these ideas are so...
Parallel world. Like parallel worlds? Or is that a parallel world is different than...
I don't know. Maybe like parallel dimensions or like glitches in the Matrix. Stuff like that.
Ooh, that's
that would be cool. I don't know if that's what
fun.
you meant, but...
I don't know.
Also, we just got this comment about the bog bodies things where it's just Jordy says, the nipple thing really got me.
That's new. That's a new comment. I haven't seen that one. Oh, good.
With the exploding corpses, Hannah says, I love every episode. Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah, thank you.
Anna says, the only podcast that makes me go, ah, and ha 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 at the same time. Love it. Michelle, remember the mention of your funeral?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. With my baker's dozen of arrows in the canoe. And then if it doesn't sink, you have to keep shooting me with arrows.
Yeah, the night guard says, Michelle's funeral will be the coolest and funniest funeral ever.
Thank you. And I want you to know it's copyrighted because I said it on this podcast. And also I want the song that played on Ferris Bueller's Day Off playing when you're firing the arrows, that chicka chicka, bow, bow, chicka chicka. And that way everybody's like, kind of like, instead of being sad, everyone's kind of like confused and a little bit like mad.
Taking pictures.
Like, boom, boom, chicka chicka, chicka chicka.
Oh, man. And finally, Michelle, about your question if people like liver, it was tied between yes, I love it and I don't like it.
You know, liver was winning for a while. I was watching that poll because I was like, liver's going to win, but I'm really surprised it ended up tying.
And then the rest of the answers were just distributed between it's okay and I just threw up. There are your answers. Again, we're reading from Spotify's comment and polls, which are really cool. Like after the episode publishes, you can get to go in there and answer a question. We see it as like not a review, but like an actual like response, which is really cool.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. But anyway, again, this story is ongoing with the whole haunted objects.
Yeah, write in. Let us know. I didn't curse Edwin. This is all his own fault. That's maybe this week's poll is did.
What do you think? Did I mess it up? Is it my fault or is it Michelle's fault?
Yeah, I think it's definitely your fault.
What are we going to talk about next week, Michelle?
I don't know, but I think it'll be a surprise.
Yeah. All right. Let's go
Woo!
for it. All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.